Have you ever been super excited to start a new habit only to give up a few weeks later because you're just not seeing the results you wanted? Yeah, it's a feeling we all know. It is so frustrating. Well, today we're diving into James Clear's absolute masterpiece, Atomic Habits. We're going to break down his simple, proven system for making these tiny 1% changes that, believe it or not, lead to some seriously remarkable, life-altering results. Let's figure out how you can make this work for you. You know this feeling all too well. You start hitting the gym, you start studying every day, you change your diet. You are putting in the work. But when you look in the mirror or check the scale, nothing. Crickets. This is what James Clear calls the valley of disappointment. See, we expect our progress to be a straight line, just up and up. But in reality, the most powerful results are delayed. And it's right here, in this valley, that most people quit, usually right before they're about to have a major breakthrough. But what happens if you just don't quit? What if you push through that valley and just focus on one simple thing, getting 1% better every single day? Well, the math behind this is absolutely staggering. If you improve by just that tiny 1% each day for 1 year, you will end up, wait for it, nearly 38 times better than when you started. That right there is the mind-blowing power of compounding. Those small, seemingly meaningless daily choices stack up into something enormous over time. I love this analogy that James Clear uses. Think about a stone cutter. For the first 100 swings, nothing seems to happen. It looks like a total waste of effort. But every single one of those swings, every one of your tiny habits, is building up pressure under the surface. It's not that final blow that breaks the rock. It was the combined force of everything that came before it. That breakthrough you're looking for, you're building towards it with every small action. Okay, so we've established that these huge instant results are basically a myth. And we know that chasing these massive goals often just leads to burnout, right there in that valley of disappointment. So that begs a really important question, right? If setting a giant goal isn't the best way to change our lives, then what is? This right here is the first huge mindset shift. We need to stop focusing so much on our goals and start focusing on our identity. The real aim isn't just to, say, run a marathon, it's to become a runner. This is the fundamental difference between what he calls outcome-based habits and the much more powerful identity-based habits. And this comparison just lays it out perfectly. An outcome-based approach is all about the finish line. I want to lose 40 pounds. Okay, great, but what happens after you lose it? The motivation is gone. An identity-based approach, on the other hand, is a permanent shift in how you see yourself. I want to be a healthy person. A healthy person just naturally makes healthy choices because every single action you take is like a vote for the type of person you want to become. Clear tells this fantastic story about a guy who stopped biting his nails, not by forcing himself to stop, but by starting to take pride in them. He went and got his first ever manicure, and just like that, his identity shifted. He wasn't some guy trying not to bite his nails. He was now a guy who took pride in having great nails. That one little shift changed everything. So the question is, who do you want to become? All right, so you've decided who you want to be. How do we actually start casting those votes for our new identity? This is where the book's framework comes in, and it is just brilliant and so practical. It's a simple set of rules for creating good habits and, just as importantly, breaking bad ones. And here they are, the 4 laws of behavior change. Think of these as the levers you can pull to build pretty much any habit you want. So let's break them down one by one. The first law is all about the cue, the trigger. You know, a lot of our habits are just reactions to what we see around us. So if you want to drink more water, don't hide it in the fridge. Put a water bottle right on your desk. Want to practice guitar more? Don't leave it in the case in the closet. Put it on a stand right in the middle of your living room. You want to design your environment so that the cues for your good habits are just impossible to ignore. This is such a perfect example of that. So a hospital wanted people to make healthier choices. They didn't put up posters or give lectures. They just made water more obvious. They added more water stations everywhere, and by simply redesigning the environment, they made the good habit the easy default choice. Water sales shot up by over 25%. It's incredible. The second law is all about the craving. Let's be honest, we're way more likely to do something if we actually find it appealing. A really powerful way to do this is something called temptation bundling. Here's an example. You only allow yourself to watch your favorite show on Netflix while you're on the treadmill. You're pairing the habit you need to do with a habit you already want to do. It's a game changer. Now, this stat is pretty wild, and it highlights just how much our social environment matters. One of the most powerful motivators we have is to just join a culture where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. If you want to get fit, join a running club or a CrossFit gym. When you surround yourself with people who already have the habits you want, those habits suddenly become way more attractive. The third law taps into a basic fact of human nature. We are all wired to follow the path of least resistance. So the trick is to reduce the friction, the number of steps, for your good habits. You want to work out in the morning. Don't decide what to wear when you wake up. Lay out your gym clothes the night before. You want to make it as absolutely easy as possible to just get started. This might be the single most useful and practical tip in the entire book. Any new habit, no matter how big, can be scaled down into a 2-minute version. Read before bed every night becomes read 1 page. Do 30 minutes of yoga becomes take out my yoga mat. The point isn't to get amazing results in 2 minutes. The point is to master the art of just showing up. And finally, the fourth law. This one is all about the reward. Our brains, they evolved to love instant gratification. So for a habit to really stick, it has to feel successful right away. We have to find a way to give ourselves a little immediate reward for doing the right thing. And these are just some genius ways to create that immediate satisfaction. A simple habit tracker, just putting a big X on a calendar. It gives you this tiny hit of dopamine. It makes your progress visible. Your goal is to create a satisfying visual cue that just says, hey, I did it. Like comedian Jerry Seinfeld famously said, once you get a streak going, your only job is to not break the chain. Okay, now let's kind of zoom out and look at the big philosophy that ties all these laws together. This is the mindset that really separates the people who succeed long-term from those who don't. This is easily one of the most powerful ideas in the whole book. Goals are great for setting a direction, but it's your systems that actually make the progress. A goal is the result you want. Your system is the collection of your daily habits, following those 4 laws that will actually get you there. Think about it. If you're a coach, your goal is to win the championship. Your system is what your team does at practice every single day. And this is just such a profound insight when you think about it. Every single athlete at the Olympics wants to win a gold medal. Everyone applying for a job wants to get it. Having the goal doesn't make you special. It's the commitment to a reliable system of those continuous 1% improvements that ultimately gets you the results. So forget about the goal for a little while and just fall in love with your system. Wow. Okay. We've covered a lot of ground here, from the plateau of latent potential all the way to the power of systems. But look, knowledge is pretty useless if you don't take action. So let's bring this all home and boil it down to one simple, immediate thing you can do, like right now. That's it. It's that simple. Don't try to reinvent your entire life by tomorrow morning. Just pick one habit you want to build. Now, shrink it down so it takes you less than 2 minutes to do. And start today. The point isn't to change the world today. The point is to cast one single vote for the person you are becoming. And that's really the beautiful, powerful secret of this entire book. Those tiny habits, those 1% improvements, those little daily votes you cast for your future self, they don't just add up. Over time, they compound into a completely transformed life. You just have to have the patience to stick with it through that valley of disappointment and let your efforts multiply. If you found this explainer helpful, please do me a favor and hit that like button, share it with someone who could use it, and make sure you subscribe to WealthNotes for more deep dives like this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.